welcome back to the channel. On today's video we are in Falkirk and we are going to explore Falkirk Wheel, but we'll also take you to an interesting building shaped as a fruit. Stay tuned. This is the Falkirk Wheel, one of Scotland's most remarkable engineering achievements and the world's only rotating boat lift of its kind. Located near the town of Falkirk, the Falkirk Wheel connects two important waterways, the Forth and Clyde Canal and the Union Canal. The wheel was opened in 2002 as part of the Millennium Link project, an ambitious scheme to restore Scotland's historic canal network. Standing around 35 metres tall, the Falkirk Wheel is an extraordinary piece of modern engineering. Its main job is simple, moving boats between the two canals that sit at very different heights. Before the wheel was built, boats had to use a series of locks. Today, a single rotation can carry them between the two levels in just a few minutes. For more than a century, the Union Canal and the Forth and Clyde Canal were connected by a series of locks. These locks allowed boats to travel between Scotland's east and west. However, the original connection was eventually dismantled in the 1930s and the two canals became separated. Decades later, a major restoration project was launched to reconnect them. The challenge was enormous. The two waterways had a height difference of around 24 metres. Rebuilding the original series of locks would have required a large amount of space and significant amount of water. So engineers and designers came up with a much more dramatic solution. Instead of building a staircase of locks, they would build a giant rotating wheel. At first glance, the Falkirk Wheel looks incredibly complicated, but the principle behind it is surprisingly simple. On each side of the wheel is a huge container of water called a gondola. One gondola carries a boat at the lower level, while the other carries a boat at the upper level. Each gondola contains an equal amount of water. And here's the clever part. A boat floating in the water displaces its own weight in water. That means that when a boat enters one gondola, the same weight of water is displaced. So the total weight of each gondola remains almost exactly the same, whether there's a boat inside it or not. Because both sides are perfectly balanced, the wheel doesn't need enormous amounts of energy to lift the boats. It simply needs enough power to overcome friction and rotate the structure. The entire process is a brilliant example of using physics to make a seemingly impossible task remarkably efficient. Since opening, the Falkirk Wheel has become one of Scotland's most famous modern landmarks. Visitors can watch the wheel in action, explore the surrounding canals and take boat trips through the lift itself. But the Falkirk Wheel represents something bigger than tourism. It brought new life to the waterways that had been disconnected for decades. It helped restore a historic route across Scotland, and it proved that modern engineering doesn't always have to hide in the background. Sometimes engineering can become the attraction itself. We then left the Falkirk Wheel and decided to visit another strange piece of architecture, the Dunmore Pineapple. At first glance, the Dunmore Pineapple looks almost surreal. Sitting on top of a grand garden pavilion, the huge stone fruit towers above the surrounding landscape. The pineapple itself is around 14 metres tall. Its surface is covered in hundreds of individually carved stone leaves, creating the unmistakable shape of the tropical fruit. From a distance, it looks almost like something that shouldn't exist. But the Dunmore pineapple wasn't built as a joke. In the 18th century, a pineapple was one of the most powerful symbols of wealth you could display. In the 1700s, pineapples were exotic, rare, and extremely expensive. Growing one successfully in Britain was incredibly difficult. The climate was completely unsuitable, meaning wealthy estate owners needed special heated greenhouses and skilled gardeners to produce them. Imported pineapples were also rare and costly. As a result, the fruit became a symbol of luxury. Pineapple on a table told guests that the owner had money, influence, and connections to the wider world. The pineapple was built for John Murray, the 4th Earl of Dunmore. He was a powerful Scottish aristocrat and served in several important positions during the British Empire. Today, the grand estate around it has changed dramatically, but the enormous fruit remains. The buildings surrounding gardens are preserved as an important part of Scotland's architectural heritage. Visitors can walk through the grounds and see one of the most unusual buildings in the country. And perhaps that's the real reason the Dunmore Pineapple has survived in people's imaginations. It's unexpected, makes you stop and ask questions, and once you've seen it, you're unlikely to forget it. Well, that brings a close to our video here in Falkirk. Hope you all enjoyed it. Remember, keep smiling. I'll see you on the next one.